Welcome everybody back to the Drake vs Kendrick Beef podcast. I'm Salim. I got Ray. I got Uck with me again. Check out episode 1 if you haven't got to. Kind of just did the 10 years of Subliminal as quickly as we could, and we got it all the way to the Like That drop earlier this year in 2024, and we're about to kind of kick it off from there. Now, before we get into specifically Kendrick and Drake some more, I guess we're going to have to talk about the J. Cole cameo. Actually, just before that, just to go back to last week, because last week I guess we were speaking about the Like That drop, but before that, first person shooter. One of the interesting things that I want to kind of go into with the beef is all like the little back and forth. I don't think we got to touch on the Prince and Michael Jackson back and forth, which started with first person shooter with the beat switch up when Drake did the whole "I'm one away from Mike, nigga, beat it." And obviously Kendrick came back.
Prince outlived Mike.
Yeah, which and that becomes a running theme. So I just wanted to quickly touch on that one because as we go through some of the songs today, that's going to be something that's.
I was actually going to bring that up later on because Drake does talk about the Prince and Mike Jack.
Yeah.
But I don't like in Family Matters, is it, where he flips the roles? I was like, you can't be going along this motif over 4 or 5 songs, and then you flip it and be like, wait a second, I'm actually Prince and you're Mike.
I don't know if that's happened, but we'll get to it.
Family Matters, I got that for that episode. It's all good.
So I just wanted to touch on that real quick from the last episode, but otherwise, I think we pretty much covered as much as we need to cover up until when it starts getting juicy today.
Starts getting heated heavy.
Yeah, so we've got the Like That drop we said in March on the We Don't Trust You album, and then for a minute it was just brewing. It was just left there to brew. Now, obviously, there was J. Cole in the mix, and like you said, we're going to have to talk on that. Because at that point, you didn't know who was going to be coming, Drake or Cole, and I guess Cole decided to shoot first.
It definitely seemed like it was going to be a J. Cole and Drake versus Kendrick. You know what I mean? And I think obviously it was either 2v1 or the people who were on. The whole album, whatever, Weekend. I don't think Future really said anything bad, but Weekend definitely able fucking talking shit again. Was saying something.
There was a lot of shit talking.
Yeah. And I don't think ASAP was he. Nah, but anyway, it's gonna be like 2v whatever that group. Yeah. And it was gonna lead up to that, and then funnily enough, J. Cole was actually the first one to drop out of that.
Yeah, so he drops Might Delete Later in
7-minute
drill.
And it had 7-minute drill, and that was a banger. I was
vibing to it, It was like a little bop.
It was good, man.
Some people were saying his heart wasn't really into it. I don't know. I feel like that's
he still threw some like scathing shots out there. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't.
He had fun with it.
Would have expected in the battle.
I feel like he had fun with it. He called the 7-minute drill because apparently that's just him when he's just riding real quickly. So he obviously didn't put a lot of time and thought into it, but it was fun. It was keeping the beef going at that time, so it was kind of feeding the flames a little bit, which I liked as well. And it was only fun for a couple of days because decided to turn around and be like, nah, I don't want it. I don't want it. Nah, I don't want it.
I've never seen someone back out so quick. But yeah, so I don't know. The beef, the story behind that is obviously apparently Schoolboy Q went up and approached him and said, hey, everybody's going to try to shut down Drake. You should probably get out the way.
So just to give the dates, this was April 5th, Might Delete Later, dropped. And then it was April 7th at Dreamville Festival. Which is in his home state, if I'm not mistaken, North Carolina. And apparently that's one of the rumors. Schoolboy Q was around, and he was like,
you don't want to be part of the smoke because everybody's going to try to shut down Drake, whether it deserves it or not. I don't know, but you don't want to get caught in the crossfire. Essentially, that's what he said.
Yeah,
I think that's the only thing that makes sense for someone to pull out so dramatically.
I don't think so, man. I genuinely think Cole just didn't want the smoke.
What, you think
he seems like that kind of dude that. Okay, he at the time he might have been essentially what he said on the stage. Like he was influenced. He was influenced by people that he felt like he shouldn't have been influenced by. It just doesn't seem like he's that kind of dude. The way he was, even like the angles in the diss, I feel like he genuinely wanted to take that back. He didn't like it. Maybe he just wasn't happy with it in general. But I don't think he needed to be told to walk that back.
Because the guys always rapped like, I'm Ali. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody, he was always saying he could square up with anybody lyrically.
Yeah.
and he got the perfect opportunity to go up against, the boogeyman, and he did it. It was the first gut punch. It was a good track. I think everybody, if it wasn't for what he did for backing out, I think we'd definitely have that rated as one of the better tracks. I think, like, for me personally, because obviously because he's walked the back, it kind of makes it completely irrelevant, in my opinion.
No, I agree with what you're saying. Like, he had all this stuff built up. Like you said, he said it with such viciousness and all that kind of stuff to then backtrack so quickly. Like, how do you have a change of heart that fast? Like, you should have been feeling bad as you were doing it.
Yeah.
I think that, the whole schoolboy cue, he might have just been told, look, this is going to escalate beyond what you think it's going to be. So maybe just chill out.
Look, fair enough. Maybe. Can't help but think that that's more of a rumor, but yeah, fair enough, man. Could be the case.
That's the only school in Jake Hall can tell us that.
But I mean, look, you saw what happened. I think it's clear that like everybody just wanted to shut down Drake. You know what I mean? Like, it was the agenda from the day one. So if he had been in it, would he have been also taken like friendly fire? Like I don't know. Who knows how that would have played out?
Does it become still 2v1? If anything, say to Drake, he's saying to J. Cole, or they package a deal kind of thing, or is everyone fighting their own battle? Because I think
it had to be everyone on their own, everyone for themselves, for sure. Well,
that's the thing. I think Schoolboy knew that the attack towards Drake was going to get dark, as we saw. And he's like, look, it's going to go to this level. If you're going to be rapping about this stuff, you're going to be mismatched in the level of intensity. You're sparring while these guys are actually trying to knock each other out.
Look, I don't want to take too much time on the Cole thing, but I think a lot of it had to do with the way it was done on that stage. It just didn't look right, man.
Yeah. It was a soft exit.
Right.
Soft exit. Hella soft.
Oh man, there was a lot of rappers like chiming in saying, "No, don't do
it." Nah, it looked weak as hell. At his own stage, like at his own
gig. Big J. Cole fan. I know
Yeah.
Ray's a big J. Cole fan. So
Yeah. Like at his own thing. I remember just watching it. I was like, dog, like, come on, man. Like, you couldn't have sent out a tweet. Like, you had to, do it in front of the whole world. Like, but maybe that's the apology that K-Dot wanted, so he'd take him out of his scope. You know what I mean? Like, he groveled. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, okay.
He did man up though and say, look, I deserve my lick back. If you got to get me back, ready for it. But
didn't rate that. Didn't rate that whole thing about got my chin out, take your best shot. Oh.
No, I mean, he wasn't backing out. He was saying like, I don't want this smoke, but if you got to do what you got to do, you got to do what you got to do. Like, that's the only manly thing I guess he did in that.
Anyway, I guess we'll come back to him because that did age as one of the better things in this beef that no one saw coming and aging as well as it did. But we're
him ducking out like that was It was a weak move for the ages. Soft.
But it did set it up for like a 1v1, I guess, that we ended up getting. It set it up for the main event. And I guess that's what we're going to get into now, which...
it's never a 1v1. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, it's never a 1v1. Like, this is a false narrative that you're trying to fucking sell. Like it ain't 1v1.
Yeah, you're forgetting his ghostwriters.
So we're going to go into push-ups, man. So Drake, this was for a minute. People were waiting. I guess, is Drake going to drop? When's he going to drop? I guess we knew Drake was going to have to drop, especially after the Cole thing happened. I feel like it was even more weight on Drake's shoulders. And he had like a lot of fun with it as well with the whole J. Cole mentions. But Push-Ups finally drops after some leaks. Remember there was some leaks that happened? But officially drops on, April 19th officially. But before that, I think the leaks were going around for a few days before that. And it was, man. It was
he sent it to AK Academics, right, to release it? Or was that where the leak came from?
No, I can't remember that. I just know there were leaks going around.
Yeah.
Because there was that Get Money beat on it initially, and then that switched to the major release beat, which was different.
Just for
the Who Kid.
Just for reference, it was about 3 weeks between like that and then Push-Ups, right? So there was some decent time.
There was some time.
I'll come back to that later on.
So like Ray said, it drops with the Who Kid intro, which I liked. I was like, all right, Drake getting dark with it. You know, I like that kind of Drake. And he comes out spitting facts. I like the I could never be nobody's number one fan. Your first number one, I had to put it in your hands, which is facts. Especially when he's talking this shit about being a hit maker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Drake at his best. No one can deny that. He's proven it. Like, undeniable bangers.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to dispute there. But how did we feel about Drake
I mean, he's put people on. You know, every time he gives someone a hit, like a verse, it's a big track. You know what I mean? Like, and he came out swinging. Like you said, I think this was. I felt like it probably doesn't get enough credit. This track for as good as Drake actually rapping, like just rapping. I think this is actually like top tier. For me, you know what I mean? I know like he gets undercut by some of the stuff and the timing that Kendrick does, which stuff we'll talk about later. But he was going word for word, bar for bar, man. He was on fire, bro.
Definitely. War mode.
I think a lot of like
ready.
Obviously this is when he started to drop like Whitney references about like being the bodyguard, like you know what I mean, blah blah blah.
That's what I was gonna say. This was actually a great diss track. The kind of a rebuttal I was expecting for it to be a good rap battle, but like Drake does, he mentioned his nemesis's fiance.
Yeah.
That's what gets it all to then escalate a step further.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I was just going to ask a bit more even what did you guys like about the record that you think worked really well? Obviously, he went for that angle as well with the whole being extorted thing, which I don't know how well that worked for me personally, just because Drake has such a record of being extorted by, you know what I mean, the biggest extorter of them all, Birdman and Young Money.
Yeah.
So that angle for me was a little bit funny. I mean, I thought the beat was sick. I thought the flow was sick. I thought the hook was sick. And like I said, even him coming out, spitting the facts about being a hit maker, like I said, I think that's Drake at his best when he's talking his shit about being like, you know, hit maker. Like, so true. Like,
and he
this
also
is probably one of the best lines I hear. Metro, shut your whole ass up.
This was the best line. I think this was the best line.
I think so too.
Yeah. It was the best line.
And I think part of the song is obviously he did have so many people who had to go.
He had to go
because I think he was going against Future. So you already knew, all right.
He mentions the whole Chip and Dale thing because obviously his enemy was Pluto. Pluto knows buzz. You know what I mean? So like, there's a whole bunch of other things that he's going at it. That it's not just having a go at Kendrick. You know what I mean? This showed that he really was battling on multiple fronts, you know what I mean? And he's got some lyrics in there, because I've been listening to it, obviously trying to get better. There's some tracks I'm just like, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm sure they know that you're talking about them, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know what I mean? You need to go into like deep layered level of breakdown to sort of understand it. Because the more I listen to it, I'm like, is that what that means? Oh, shit, like I didn't catch that the first 5 listens type thing. Whereas, like, I feel like a lot of, like, K-Dot's listeners are just they've been a little, like... Direct, you know what I mean? Like, they're not as hidden.
And I think he calls that out in Euphoria. Says, if I catch play, it's going to be direct. Like, I'm doing this sneaky shit.
I feel like Drake's disses on this were, for the most part, quite direct, man.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, he calls out, what's his name? The Weeknd's manager, what's his name? Cash. And I love that. That's my favorite ad-lib out of all the diss songs as well. The shit we do for bitches, you do it for niggas. What the fuck? I love the ad-libs. I love all that like stuff Drake does.
It was a fun song.
Yeah,
it was absolutely a fun song.
He was having fun with it. Like I loved a lot of the imagery. Yeah, the whole thing about I'm at the top of the mountain now. You tight now.
Yeah,
just to have this talk with your ass. I have to hike down. All of that imagery. You got my picture on the wall when you cook up. I thought that was mad as well. Like Drake was cooking. He definitely.
He was, and I think obviously his biggest thing was that Drop and Give Me 50s. That Top owns 50% of like Kendrick's the money that he makes essentially. So they're like, hey, you need to do a record. So yeah, that's what it comes at.
Now again,
which is funny because people say that Universal, is it Universal? Yeah. Whoever owns Drake like makes him do all these gigs, but at the same time, Top is I don't think that's the case anymore, but that was the case at the time, I think.
Yeah, from my understanding, Kendrick had the pretty. It was like publicized when he finished his TDE contract and he left and started his PG Lang.
Yeah.
So I don't know that whole angle, and again, just because Drake's been extorted before and on record, like he's talked about it. I've never heard Kendrick complain about having his any financial issues with Top Dog. So it felt like a bit of a reach for me. As hard as the song was, I don't know how much I was like bopping along to or agreeing anyway with what Drake was actually saying about Kendrick. I feel like the song was hard, but the substance maybe wasn't hitting. like that.
No, that's fair assessment. I'd pay that.
I don't know about that. He was spitting bars. Like, yeah, he does. It's Drake. Sometimes he says some corny shit, but I think that was much better than what I think people expected for him to come back with. In my honest
Man,
opinion.
when that dropped, by the way, I was
reckon that was better
worried
than
for
one-
Kendrick. When
Yeah.
that dropped, I was thinking, okay, Drake
Yeah.
really came with
no,
that.
nobody
bop that-
knew he had like that kind of hate with him. As much as you say, oh, it wasn't like it wasn't hard hitting. At that stage, it was still sparring. Remember that though.
Yeah.
At that stage, it was still kind of like relatively like, hey, this is a fun game we're gonna little play. You know what I mean? Like the knives hadn't come out yet, and for that, I think that hit the mark.
I'd put that down as Drake's second best song in the whole diss from start to end. So
Yeah,
quality song. Not mad at it.
No, it was hell yeah. I fucks with it.
Obviously the influencer name drops on this as well because influencers ended up playing like quite a big part in all of this.
did.
So Drake shouting out Kai Cenat at one point, and he has that DJ Academics.
What type 5 you talking
Yeah,
about?
that little sample that he used. That all kind of built up to what fueled a lot of this beef, which was also the influences on the outside. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well, the way Drake kind of played it first, because then Kendrick builds up on it a little bit as well.
And I think going back to what you were saying as well, the Prince and Mike line.
Yeah.
What's a prince to a king, right? It's a
Yeah.
son, nigga. You know what I mean? So he's saying you're just a son to a king, and I think like there's some other like little sneak disses in there because I'm pretty sure one of
Michael Jackson's.
either Michael Jackson and I think one of Future's kids' name is Prince as well.
Oh.
Yeah. There's some. I'm telling you, there's some shit in there that you don't know,
Yeah,
bro.
what was your point?
Mine
about-
was on Family Matters, so we can say
Oh,
that. For the next-
okay,
yeah,
okay.
he
Why
flips
you
it on
skipping?
Family
Why
Matters.
why you skipping the line, bro?
Because that whole Prince Mike Jackson.
You want to go to the best
motivation-
song already? Fine, I'm happy to go there.
Like I was saying, we'll say that for the next episode.
So yeah, man, that
I got
dropped
enough ammo for this one.
between the leak and when that dropped. That was about what, April 13th or whatever, mid-April, and then he had the official drop for Push-Ups on April 19th. I was just going to go into the next song, but before that, obviously there was the artwork as well with the size 7 artwork on the album.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
look,
fun.
I thought
That
that obviously like because obviously Kendrick gets clowned for being a midget, and all that kind. I don't know. I thought it was like it was funny but a little bit corny. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah, I thought
To
it was
use
a
it
little,
as an album cover.
yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit corny. I mean, it was funny, but not. It wasn't like it's not a zing. You know what I mean? Like yeah, he's got he's a tiny little man. You know what I mean? Like what? Like I don't know. That was just my take on it.
I mean, there's not much you can come for Kendrick, though, is there really? There's not really that many angles you can come at Kendrick for. He's short. And
Well, there is. Did you not listen to the disses? Like he just came at them
Which
with
one?
like all different angles, bro. Like, but
The whole
just pay
wife
attention.
beating the
Yeah.
nonsense. Come on, settle down. Simmer down.
Come on. Just
This
pay
guy's
attention. Pay attention.
Gizzler for the drizzler.
Okay, so yeah, song fire. I think we all agree. I was worried for Kendrick at this point, personally, being
Because I don't think
again, a
anybody had
mutual
really
fan.
come. Nobody had really come at him like
He
this.
wasn't
right?
battle
Like,
tested.
Yeah, I think. Didn't he have no? Did he have beef with something? Nah, I don't think he's really been.
I don't think he's dropped.
Yeah.
any direct-
I wouldn't say I was worried for Kendrick, but I was worried that he wouldn't reply, or he might think it's beneath him to reply. So it's
I
a
don't know.
lot of
I didn't think
anxiousness.
that. No, especially if
hoping
you're
that he would
starting it, you
reply.
got to finish it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking Drake did what Drake does, which is hit maker. Like that was a bop, man. I remember
that was
listening to
fire.
that continuously, like repeatedly, just thinking,
It's 20v1, nigga.
yeah.
he
Fuck,
was-
is this a 20v1?
he
And
was fucking going
and
off.
Metro Boomin, this is all goddamn
Yeah.
ad-lib.
Nah, it was fire, bro. It was fire. And then obviously, I think that's because he mentions Whitney on that one.
Yeah.
I think that's
You gotta
one. I think
touch
that's the first mention of like when it starts to get a little bit personal. I think like that.
So that's
So he admits
does
Drake
he
took it
draw
too
that
far.
first personal?
No, because he dropped her
jab.
name. He dropped it. Like remember when he name dropped Pusha's fiance. That's when
got a habit of
that's when Pusha decided to get like nasty with it. You know what I mean? That's when.
So he hasn't learned his lesson, then. This guy hasn't learned his lesson. He's a
What do you
habitual
mean? Yeah.
line stepper.
But it's still like you can't kill him anyway. Like it's Drake. Like
We'll see,
you
we'll
can't
see.
kill him.
That's man, I like that point right there.
Episode 6.
I was like, he did it again. Yeah, he freaking loves
yeah.
to draw that line, and step that line. And then there's the beat switch at the end, which is nice as well, because that obviously builds up to Drake's
To the
next.
fa-
now.
yeah, to
Well,
the
not the
Family
next drop,
Matters.
but yeah, what he
Yeah,
had
yeah,
lined
yeah.
up. But yeah, man, is there anything else I wanted to touch on push-ups before we keep it moving? Because the next one's a bit more controversial, I reckon. The next one that Drake drops. So try and enjoy as much of the Drake talk as I can now, right?
No, yeah, this was top tier. This is a top tier diss track.
I think so.
Like you can't, if you hate on it, you're just a Drake hater, and you know if you want to be that weird, you can be that weird over on your own. But yeah, this was a top tier diss track. It's worth bopping to. Made headlines, turns people head. People were like, oh, what's K Dot gonna do? He's gonna do something about it. Like he did his part. So far.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess it was like the
Great
weight
DJ
now.
as well on the beat.
Ooh, kid.
Yes, sir.
That was nice because I mean, war mode. That's what I liked about it. I heard that and I was like, oh, Drake taking it back.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
G.
yeah. It was
and
nice.
then what did he
Yeah,
say?
yeah,
He said
yeah.
something about he names drops 50 Cent. He's got me out here rapping like I'm 50. So it was a nice little foreshadowing, man. And he got back into his bag, man. If nothing else, this
Yeah.
beef got Drake to go back into his bag.
Yeah, I'm happy with
it.
it. Even as
Yeah,
a Drake
yeah.
header, I thought it was good. I was cool.
Yeah. Us Drake fans get so much music though. Like for us, it's nothing new. You know what I mean? Like we're always getting blessed. So I know it's unique to you guys, you
and it
K Dot
was that
fans.
itch,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
I mean, you over here.
I think it was that itch that ended up that forced Drake to, make that Taylor's freestyle drop, which I guess we got to go into next because this dropped just about a few days after Drake did push-ups.
Yeah, was it 2 days after? Yeah.
Just a few days,
Just a
yeah.
few days.
And at this point, there was so much AI going around, and Drake obviously used the Tupac and Snoop AI famously in this, or infamously in this, and that was a lot of controversy. I remember hearing it and thinking, because it dropped on his Instagram account. And
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah,
okay,
he lost it.
so
Yeah.
this has got to be Drake because it's on his Instagram account. But I know he's not thinking about using Tupac as AI. And I thought, did he repost someone else's song that they made, how the internet was going crazy with the AIs?
Yeah.
Thinking, I know he didn't do this. And then his verse drops at the end. And you're like, God damn, this dude actually went out and made an AI song with Tupac and Snoop and decided to just rap at the end of it. And I couldn't help but think Drake he just has to do something to get under someone's skin. Like he can't habitual line stepper again. He can't help himself. Like that itch was like, I can't wait a few more days for Kendrick to drop. I gotta do something now.
Yeah.
And this is why I brought
'Cause
up
it
the
felt
21
like it was-
days.
Huh?
This is why I brought up the 21 days between like that and Drake putting out push-ups. He waited damn near a month himself, yet 3 days later he's begging and pushing for Kendrick, prodding unnecessarily for Kendrick to reply. It's like, nigga, have some self-reflection, which he clearly can't do. But yeah, the self-awareness is really low in Drake, and you see it throughout this whole rap battle, which is it's a good diss.
This guy's
Like,
put
I
out
actually
like
like this.
50 songs in a year, dog. Like what? What do you fucking want,
Trash.
bro? Like,
It's just trash. Everyone can put out trash.
I'd like to say as well, I think if this song dropped in like a vacuum where, because Tupac's legacy as well, the fact that he's got so many true fans and people that wouldn't stand for Drake using him so trivially in this, it was such a bad look. But I feel like it was a fun take. The beef situation, but just done in bad taste. Like you can't.
I don't know, man.
I think if he just used Snoop,
Snoops, yeah.
that would kind of be fair enough.
Well,
But
because
using,
Snoop gave him the
such a
okay.
rich legacy.
Snoop didn't give
He just laughed it off or
Yeah,
something.
he
I
did.
don't think he gave him the okay. He didn't shut it down, but he didn't give him the okay. He was
But
like, they
that's
did what?
essentially that's the same. Like if he wanted to shut it down, he
could've?
would have. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think
It's
I don't think
essentially
it's
he
him
was just
giving
like,
the
oh,
okay.
haha, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think Drake definitely needed a tap on the shoulder around this drop. Be like, hey, this ain't it. Don't drop this one.
Look, I'll be real.
No, not the Tupac verse
a lot
at
of
least,
people
because the
didn't
rest
like
of it
it.
was fun. Otherwise, the whole "we waiting on you," I'm
Yeah,
out on
yeah,
the
yeah,
loose. I thought that was all fun, and he's all like little.
It's
shtick
him rapping all
about-
3 verses though. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, just using
'cause
the
it's-
AI
yeah.
thing. But just even the fun he's having with the Taylor Swift thing, because obviously Kendrick worked with Taylor Swift previously in the song, which I don't think was one of Kendrick's best looks, that Bad Blood song.
Blood.
No, and then he moved a release for her or something, didn't he?
No, I think Drake was having fun with that. I don't think there was much truth to that, but it was still fun. I didn't mind it, obviously, in the scheme of the beef, just to kind of run with something ridiculous like Taylor Swift is telling you to push back your diss song. It's ridiculous. it's fun. Don't get me wrong. Just the Tupac thing, I feel like made it age poorly.
I
This has to
don't
be the
know.
song
I
that
mean,
aged
look,
the worst out of
it's
the beef.
creative. It's different. Whether I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Cool.
Especially in the spirit of the time with all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
AI
yeah.
shit that was going on, it felt timely.
But the
Someone
thing
did
is, he
that.
wasn't trying to monetize it. It's not like he was like saying, "Hey, yeah, look, I'm trying to like, you know." I think he just dropped it on his like Instagram. Yeah, he wasn't trying to monetize it. He was just doing it because obviously he knows Tupac is Kendrick's hero.
Yeah.
So he's just fucking around. Like it's some high level trolling. That's what that is. Like whether it was in good faith or not, like who gives a damn? The motherfucker used AI Nipsey Hussle in this video. Like everybody's use AI, man. Like ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
The Tupac estate as well, I guess. Them coming in and telling him to take it down probably didn't help it age either.
Well, is that true?
Yeah, that's
is that true?
Yeah.
Was that from Kendrick's whistleblowing? is that what that was about?
No, let's be real.
I don't know. If he says, "Hey, take it down," I don't like it. Wham, wham, wham. Well, that's what's.
I don't think he even needs to do that though,
Yeah.
because the Tupac estate are quite close with Kendrick, and they're seeing this guy using their dead son for a gimmick, for a trolling. Like I said, any mother would take that responsibility. Like, personally.
Drake's got billion. He probably just gave him like $1 billion. Like they'll go towards fucking Tupac's estates and his children. Like, bro, like people have been making music fucking from Tupac's dead music for a long
But not in a
time.
disrespect, not as disrespectful as this was,
He's not being disrespectful to Tupac.
but to Tupac's friend or
They've never met each
not a
other.
friend, but
What are you
some
talking
friend of the
about?
family, a friend of the family.
What?
A friend
This
of the
nigga
family.
died in 1996.
Are you telling me Kendrick and the estate are not good?
Bro, get out of here.
If you can't see that he's
Get out of
the line,
here.
then
If you're saying
we're arguing with
Tupac and thing are buddies and he hangs out in Cuba
Yeah, clearly
with
he died when he was like 8 or 10,
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly,
simmer
bro.
down.
Come on, man.
Alright.
Come on.
Break.
We'll leave it at this.
Come
Hey,
on.
clinch again. Break
Next
the
song
clinch.
is mine.
on,
Don't
bro.
worry, I got him next.
Come on, man.
Break the clinch. Anyway, I thought in the meantime between Drake dropping push-ups and obviously Kendrick finally coming with his response, it was something that fed the beef. Regardless, it was something.
Nah, that was
fed
a
the beef.
crazy month. That was one of the craziest months.
It started going. This beef is like a exponential graph. That 10 years we covered last week or last episode compared to what we're covering right now in the time period is nuts.
But I think this is the track. Obviously, this track probably pissed him off more than I think the Whitney in the last line. I think that
Tupac thing.
Yeah, I think that's the stuff that made like Kendrick be like, okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Like he wants all the smoke, basically. Yeah. I think because obviously he talks how much he loves Pac. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I was just going to say as well quickly, there was the Joe Budden podcast shout out on this song as well. Again, there's a lot of feeding the influences.
And then he also starts saying stuff about like that Kendrick is obviously going to say, you know what I mean? So he's like planting all these seeds, you know, like the young girls, the blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Like he's preempting it. I don't know. That's it. Even though like obviously the song was not well received by anti-AI people. You know what I mean? He did drop some little lines in there that were pretty
And you think that was helpful to his case?
Huh?
You think that was helpful to his case?
Well, yeah, because if he goes and then raps about it, then what? It's like, what are you saying? Like I've already said, it's like
It's like the old
Eminem. That was
rabbit
Eminem's
in
thing.
8 Mile.
Rabbit. That was his whole thing.
That's exactly what he did. You can't laugh at me. I'm poor. I'm trash. You can't laugh. He called himself a pedophile. Literally.
No, but he said, "I'm gonna feed you, brother." Listen to the lines. He's feeding them these lines.
He's just trying to get ahead of the
Feeding
allegations.
him.
and to be honest, Drake, he was feeding him, and he did even at the end when he was talking about, I know you're in that New York apartment, because it was known at that point Kendrick was staying out in New York, saying, I know you're in that apartment, whatever, riding, struggling. And the way Drake set it up and what I feel Kendrick came back with made it sound all true. Like Kendrick was just in there like practicing kung fu and shit, just riding and then practicing kung fu and riding.
Doing them push-ups.
Yeah, he wasn't lying. Like Drake was making a joke out of it, but the way that shit came back, it was like, oh, shit was serious. Like that's all Kendrick must have been doing.
Yeah.
And I guess on that note, man, we're gonna keep it pushing to Akram's favorite topic of this whole beef.
Oh, this is the song I said I was going to do a piece
Shit,
on.
mama,
Let's play that song one time for real quick. Let's get his take on it first.
April 30th, 10 days after, I guess, the formal drop of Push-Ups and then the little Taylor Swift freestyle, we get Euphoria finally. And this was crazy because now the beef was on. up until this point, it was a lot of
Is he gonna get there? Is he gonna
yeah,
reply?
who's gonna
Yes.
wait for who? How long is it gonna take? And you knew beef was on the moment this dropped. Man, oil splashing, flambe, shit was going crazy, and it was like, all right, shit was on. So on that note, man, where were we when Euphoria dropped? How'd we feel about that?
I don't know. Did it drop on Friday?
For us,
It was a
Tuesday,
Saturday.
wasn't it?
Was it?
yeah, no. It was midweek.
Midweek.
It was a midweek drop for us.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. Look, this record was I think it's probably up there with Kendrick's weakest.
Do you see what we're dealing with?
Like honestly, I think it's one of his weakest. I feel like there was a lot of pressure on him to come back with like a hit 'em up type response to some of the stuff that thing, and it got too into his head. I think he finally mastered it later on. With I think there were because he talks like 6 minutes. It doesn't really go anywhere. He doesn't have like a real zinger. There's no like real like there's no like A minor line. You know what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean? Like. It was a whole bunch of, but look, he was a little bit funny on this, like his whole like crody, you know, when he imitates the whole like his, you know, Drake's crody, you know what I mean? Like that was funny. He had a few little funny lines in there, but I personally, the more I listen to it, the more I find that he missed. He tried, yeah, he missed on this one.
What parts do you say he missed? Like what were the
Like
missing?
no, there's nothing that's like that scathing. There's nothing that he said about Drake that hasn't been said before.
Yeah, and the reason for that, go.
Yeah, because I know you want to go in, Akram. I'll say this much, Ray. After Push-Ups dropped, and the bop that Push-Ups was, and then Kendrick started it off with that slow shit at the start, I was like, oh man, don't be weird, Kendrick. I was like, Kendrick, don't go weird on us. I swear, when he started it off with that, it's crucified, I was like, ooh, Kendrick, please don't go weird on us. Like, this is not the time, man. Drake just dropped a banger.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
I was worried. When I heard them horns, when I heard them, dun, 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 I was like, huh?
Sure.
I still feel like he's
like, huh?
He's still got his like kid gloves on. Like he hasn't taken them off. Like
Yeah, and that's something I was going to talk about. This song, you said it's not scathing. It's because it wasn't meant to be. This was supposed to be the final warning to Drake. And he says it. This can be friendly. Just keep professional, keep my family's name out of your mouth.
yeah,
We're
but
gonna keep it
if he had
professional.
already gone like over the top, why did he respond with some PG rated bullshit? Like
Because
that's
he's
not what
giving
we
you one
want,
more chance.
brother.
When a
the
kid
chances,
pushes you, you don't
if he's
smack a shower
if
right
he's
away.
mentioning Whitney, it's over, bro. It's over. Like he don't give us another little one. Like what? Get out of here.
You gave him one chance. Drake, of course, took the bait. And yeah, we saw him end his career. So
Like I think outside of Meet the Grams, this is the worst.
Wow.
outside of Meet the Grahams,
Wow.
this is what we're dealing with, people.
It is.
I don't know if I can let you get away with saying that. Even as a
Someone
moderator,
needs to check him, man.
I don't know
No,
if
but
I
I'm
can
saying in order
let
of
you
the
get away
K
with
dot
that.
tracks. I'm talking in like I'm putting them in order of the weakest, strongest to weakest.
No,
Some
mind
like
you, Hot
that.
6 is in this as well. Are you saying just for Kendrick, or are you saying out of all the diss tracks?
for Kendrick.
Okay.
Like yeah.
Then okay. All right.
All right.
I can let that be.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, what does he say? All right. Give us
So
your.
pretty much, I've got written down here. So first thing he says, the whole fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morales. Throughout the entire beef, Drake does that. He takes bait shit that he heard from Mr. Morales and tries to use it against Kendrick. He predicted his angles, as he says in this as well. And it's not like this song is just blah, blah. This actually got, like you said, what is it, the braids? You know what I mean? You don't work with me no more. Okay, it's not just fucking boring shit. He's got some catchy things as well. It's not just blah, blah, and all that kind of
Maybe.
stuff. I was going to say,
Talk your
this song,
shit, Akram.
this is not supposed to be, I said, aggressive as it was supposed to be. He's acknowledging, even in this song, with the 3 goats left, but he's still saying that I'm just that step above you. So I don't know why Drake tends to always take it, again, then that step too far. And he accuses Kendrick in this song of bringing up his son. He doesn't bring anything up about Drake's son. He brings up the fact that Drake is a shit father. Drake then takes that personally and...
I think that's a personal jab. I'm not
It's
gonna
not.
lie.
No, no,
I think
no.
that's a
It is.
personal
That is
jab.
a
he says
personal
that,
jab.
well,
That is
he
a-
says, you know nothing
Hey,
about
that kid is gonna eventually hear that shit. That is
But he does not mention the kid at all.
Yeah, but he's still gonna hear his father was.
It's just a
It's
different way. It's
I
a
think
different
that's
way of saying
personal,
the same
cuz-
thing. Just a different way of saying the same thing.
I reckon,
No, no,
Ray, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So you think just saying that you're a deadbeat father implicit's talking about your kid? I can say you're a horrible person and your family has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but you're specifically talking about the role he plays in that kid's life. So
it's still talking as it
intrinsically
relates to
linked, bro.
somebody, and this son will have to hear this, and it could potentially jeopardize that relationship with the father. I know that's a reach, but you can't tell me, Akram, that's not personal to say you're a shit dad.
It's personal, but it's got nothing to do with the child. He doesn't bring up the child's name, the age, the fact that anything to do with the kid. Drake in his next song says, "You mentioned my seed, now deal with his dad." He doesn't mention his seed. He talks about the dad being a deadbeat.
Okay.
This is just little nuances I've been waiting to just get out there. Where else can I get to? Again, he says, we ain't got to get personal. It's a friendly fade. You should keep it that way. This was fun. Push-ups was fun. Even Tailor-Made, fun. This song, fun. It could have stayed like that until Drake had to then go again, take it too far. And then Kendrick shows when it's not fun what happens. So,
I thought how vicious and how raw Kendrick's hate came across for Drake was one of the highlights of this song. When he started off,
he sounded like he definitely didn't like
the
him.
way that you walk. God,
hearing that for the first time,
That sounded like
at that point, because the disses weren't really starting in the song. He kind of builds it up. The disses didn't start until the second half of the song, really, especially when he started off with the I hadn't even made him bleed him yet. Should I bleed him back?
Yeah.
Up until that point, it wasn't the disses weren't like hard. But when he started off with that, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk.
No, that says that in the first verse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That to me was what really kicked off. Oh shit! Like
he really doesn't like him.
yeah, it's like.
Well, I mean, with that line, it sounded like he stole it from like a Disney movie or something, like a teenage high school. Yeah, I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way you talk.
He
Like,
did the 12 things I hate about you.
He did.
I'll have you rolling.
But what saved it, when it was still there was the DMX drop about it. There was the DMX reference about it, which did give it a bit of authenticity when it was related. But it was still the tone.
But they're being cool after that as well.
The tone that he said it with, I felt was like what stuck the hardest. Because he's saying I hate you, but it's the way he's saying I hate you. I hate the way you walk, the way you talk.
The tone. The bar was weak, but the tone was excellent.
And that's the thing about. That's the thing about Kendrick. You know, he gets a lot of flack for this whole annoying voice switches and whatnot. Bro, the dude has great control of his voice. When this guy's rapping, it's definitely a tool in his arsenal. Like, he knows how to use it, even if it can get annoying with some listeners. When he wants to, like, bring out a certain emotion, he can reach there. And I feel like that's one of the things that made all his beefs, all his tracks as well stick. And Drake has the capacity to do that as well. Drake does that really well. I think that's one of the two things they really possess that. A lot of rappers might not have the same range as them to possess, just the emotion in their voice. But it doesn't look like you finished that, Crow.
No,
He's got a little bit more to go.
I was thinking,
Play on.
Just thinking of like how pure Kendrick's hatred is for Drake. He addresses women as bitches 2 times. Once in this song and once in Not Like Us. And the only time he ever speaks about women as bitches is when they're fucking with Drake. And he's just that disgusted by your boy. That anyone who even associates with him, he's got little regards for them. Which has got to say something about Kendrick. Doesn't seem like a very hateful person. For Drake to make him go that far over the top is...
So he's saying he's insulting women because he hates Drake that much?
He doesn't see the women that fuck with Drake as women.
Yeah.
If you fucking with Drake,
then he's gonna call them bitches.
Then you're bitches.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, if you're fucking with Drake, you're not worthy.
Even though he hangs out with Kodak Black.
What's Kodak Black do?
Huh?
What's Kodak Black?
This is one of his like OG guys. He's always like put him on as albums and everything like that.
I ain't seen it.
You'll probably look into what Kodak Black has done. Yeah.
Kodak's not my boy. Kendrick is.
Yeah. Well, he's his boy.
Anyways,
but no, look,
the
there's
other thing as well is how he talks about one of the most, I think, cutting lines in Euphoria is it's not just me, I'm what the culture's feeling. And I think that resonated with a lot of people, just finally sick of Drake's shit.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's probably one of the biggest lines in that song.
Yeah, man, look, Drake did oversaturate himself. I'll say that much. Personally, as someone who was a big Drake fan, just got sick of him, bro. I'm like, not even on some hate shit, man.
And
Just
you're
got
a fan
sick
of him as
man. You know what I mean? I needed like some kind of breath of fresh air. Felt like he was hacked the game or something at this point. For real, man. Especially when he came out with Sexy Red. Now I'm like, far out, he's going to ride the Sexy Red wave too. I was like, damn, it's going to be another summer of this shit.
He's everywhere.
Something needed to disrupt
everywhere.
that.
He was everywhere.
That's not even on some hate shit, but Akram's right. There was a level of, man, if you've really been paying attention to this stuff as long as people who've been fans of this shit for a long time, you were feeling that about Drake. You're like,
But people hate successful people, bro. It's completely normal human nature. Like, there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. Like, he's out selling everybody, like, all the records. Like, you're gonna want to see him go down. You know what I mean? Especially if he's in your face and you're starting to not feel that. You know what I mean? Like, he's at the top, and like eventually, the only way from the top is down. But if he's not coming down organically, you're gonna try to bring him down. Like, it's fine. But I'll say with his music, yes, he does hit and miss, but I prefer my artists to put out music every year than once every 10 years. Because if they miss once in 10 years, you have to wait 20 years before you get one fucking good thing. At least with Drake, if he misses 1 year, next year he'll drop out with some shit and it could be a banger. Like, that's the good thing about it.
Yeah,
that's the opposite
ends
of that spectrum.
Either that Drake didn't have bangers in those times. Just sick of him as an entity, bro. In terms of, again, just the way he was... He managed himself well. I'm not hating on the way he managed himself, but I didn't feel like the content was there,
Yeah, no, I mean...
You're kind of right. I wouldn't phrase it the same way about hating someone's success, but if someone's at the top for long enough and they're not doing something that you feel is rejuvenating or like refreshing or something that...
But look, I'll say one thing about this thing and what I want to talk about. So, what is this angle with Kendrick discrediting Drake's blackness? What is that all about? Like, so are we saying all light skinned niggas can't say nigga?
Nah,
like, is that what it is? Like,
are
we cutting you?
I don't think it's even got anything to do with that because Kendrick's fiance is light skinned. You know what I mean? It's got nothing. It's got to do with the fact that Drake did not appreciate his blackness until it became fruitious for him. Culture vulturing. So, if I'm not mistaken, there's videos of Drake talking about when he was younger. Oh yeah, there's these accents. The kids in my school talk about Wagwan, saying
taking it there. I'm
talking about it because he didn't want to be a part of that life. He's like,
allow that, bro. He was like 14, 15.
He was not.
Allow
that.
He was
on 20.
I'm not gonna put that on him.
He's still an actor.
Bro, you seen that man?
Tupac was an actor. Your childhood hero was an actor too. Like, what are you talking about?
Honestly, I feel like that's some internet digging up old shit. You can't do that with every artist digging up old shit. Drake, come on, man. Like, I don't think you can question his blackness.
Drake anything done?
I do think that was a weird angle. I honestly agree. I thought that was a weird angle.
I thought it was weird. His dad was in his dad's uncle. Oh no, his dad's brother was like in Al Green's band. Like
his dad alone is a successful musician.
He's integrated within like the black. Like his dad's obviously full black, whatever, but. Like, he's part of the black community, whether you like it or not.
To benefit from them?
Bro, come on, bro. No, you can ask that about any artist.
He is not your savior.
You can ask that about any artist, Akram. But I do believe Drake, it's not as if he's like some whitewashed dude. At the end of the day, like he's been around it long enough.
He's not like Jack Harlow pretending to be black, bro. Come on, man.
No, it's not that. And that's it. That'd be a lot worse. I understand that there is thing, but it's got to do again with the constant jumping on each trend. Is it sexy red? Is it the patois lingo? Is it the...
But when he does that, bro, do you realize he boosts them to superstardom? He gets those people to superstardom. Like, he takes them to a stratosphere that would have never been able to get.
And that's
it gets them exposure.
That's looking at it from the Drake angle. I see it as he sees, whether it's a genre or a person or whatever, going upwards, and he gets ahead of him to be like, yeah, I brought you up here. When if you let them go, they'll probably make it themselves. If he got into Afrobeat earlier, he probably tries to claim fucking responsibility for that as well. I don't buy any of that. Drake is not initiative or anything like that. He just jumps on waves slightly ahead of the crowd, and then tries to claim that he brought them up. I dislike this guy.
Yeah, I don't think he ever tries. I think the biggest beef they had was Weeknd, the whole EXO OVO EXO. I think that was probably the biggest one. I don't think who I think that's the biggest one, right? Because I think he tried to sign him to OVO. He decided to go somewhere else. But I know he did put him on pretty early, but he obviously did decide not to sign with OVO and took EXO somewhere else. But I don't think he never really does that with anybody else. Like, he features, gets them on a feature, bumps their numbers to like fucking stratosphere level.
So you think he's featuring them as a favor to them? He's giving
by co-signing, it takes you to another level, bro.
It can be mutually beneficial. There's nothing wrong with that. And I still understand the critique about Drake hopping on trends and whatnot and leaving people, but I still don't understand how it ties in with the whole blackness thing, you know?
That's weird, bro.
It was a weird angle. I can't lie. I thought it was a bit of a strange angle.
It's whack
it
as
is
hell.
what it is in a beef. You know, all is fair in a beef. But I did think it was a little bit of a weird angle. I didn't think Kendrick would take that angle. I understand people would say that.
He's wittier than that. He's wittier than that.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I thought it was like a low-hanging fruit for Kendrick to diss.
Like that's something you expect Rick Ross to say. Come on, man. Like,
and he did.
And he did. And he took the bait and he ran with it.
Oh my gosh, what was he doing? Calling him white boy?
We didn't even talk about that whole aspect of the whole.
That's coming up on another episode. We gotta get there. All the little side missions. We're gonna get there. But yeah, man. Before we move on to 616, Akram, I want to make sure you've said everything.
A couple of things,
bro. I think we're gonna have to cut his mic. He's been going on for too long.
One of the last funniest things I just want to bring up was that line.
Akram only agreed to do this podcast
just for this song.
Right
you can cut me out next episode. I don't give a damn. Just get my piece out now. But that line he says, y'all over here niggas is dick riders. And if you watch the academic stream when he's first listening to that song, when he hears that line for the first time, just the look on his face, I remember just tears rolling down. He was shocked, like he wasn't expecting it. But over here
this was the first time I was ever watching streamers honestly live.
Same.
And I remember DJ Academics when he was listening to this song and the whole Toronto accent part. It was like, don't speak on a family, code it. You can get, and it got to the point where he said, tell me you're cheesing fam. And before Kendrick even said that, Academics was like, don't tell me he's going to say, tell me you're cheesing fam. And Kendrick said it like he saw it coming. It was crazy. Academics is speechless, like, nothing, could say nothing. I love that he shut him up.
Throughout that whole 6.5 minutes of that song was just priceless. Now, if I'm feeling down, I just go back and watch that stream just to
that was a funny part though. I laughed at when he put on the accent, like they speak on the Crody fan. I that was a genuine LOL. Like I was like that's funny. That's probably the one good thing you did on this track.
And Kendrick was still keeping it. I'm the best. I'm not trying to be friendly with anybody because even the way he kind of backhanded complimented Pusha T, if you even want to call it that, when he said.
Instead of pushing T,
pushing.
You better pushing him.
Yeah, instead of
pushing the pronunciation, pushing T. He was funny, bro. I'll give you. But
that's still low key kind of disrespectful to Pusha T to be like, hey, go back at him before you want to come at me. You know what I mean? Kendrick just be on that shit.
His motive.
He's not trying to be friendly with anybody. He's never been friendly on the track.
If he can be friends with them if they acknowledge that he's the best, and if you can't acknowledge it, go toe to toe.
He's all about kiss the ring, man.
Exactly.
Keep it pushing.
I'm here for it.
And he did that. He stood 10 toes on this. Ray, I'm surprised that you said what you said about the track being so weak. I thought it was strong. Set it up beautifully for then what was going to come.
In comparison to the others, you think this is strong?
Yeah, man. I think so. It's top notch, top
shelf.
This
is top 5 favorite songs for me for all time. Just saying
top
it right.
shelf.
All time.
Top shelf, Ray. You reaching up for this one?
Just with the message sent, the intent, the style, the beat switch, the aggression. I was here for all of it.
Yeah, and he took his sweet time with it, man. And he showed that obviously everything was fresh. A lot of even incorporating some responses to what Drake said, because the initial rumors as well was that Kendrick had this diss track sitting for a few years that he just wanted to drop. And he kind of showed that, no, come out with something fresh.
616 and Not Like Us are better than this.
Wow.
We'll get to that.
So just to show that I'm not being a hater. So just to show that I'm not being a hater. Like, I think those two are better than this.
You know what? No. I'll walk that back. I keep forgetting you're talking about just simply Kendrick. But yeah, I guess 616 is fire too.
They're better than this track, bro. This track is, in comparison to his other shit, hot garbage, bro.
But just lastly, I want to talk about this euphoria thing. We don't need to talk about Kanye. It was a very short blip that he came out. But he did bring up a good point of, what's that guy named? Lucian Grange from the Universal Group, whatever it is. Ever since he brought that up, Drake never came back to talking about splits. Even Kendrick calls him out in this song about, show me your splits, I'll show you mine. After Kanye said that.
You think that's what it is? I think Drake just realized that angle wasn't really it. Yeah, because again, it's publicized. He said it on record himself that he wasn't getting paid off of Young Money or whatever issues he had with Cash Money. Birdman. You can't be talking shit when you got them same problems.
But if it comes to money, like Drake is head and shoulders above everybody. Like at the end of the day, if you want to look
fair
at
enough.
bank
Talk
accounts,
money all you want to,
Yeah,
but don't
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about no contract shit.
yeah. But at the end of the day, you can guarantee he's got more money. Like if it's
It's
just
not
the
about.
case.
It's not about money.
It's
though.
not
I don't think
about-
But the
it's about
contract,
money.
what do you get out of the contract? You get money to fight about
No, but
financial
he's trying to
return.
talk about splits.
Yeah.
So
So,
Drake's
how
gonna
much
talk
money
about-
he's gonna get from his record?
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Birdman's taking 50%. That 50% he's making is more than what
than what
Kendrick is
Kendrick
making. Yeah,
I think it's more of a principle thing than a monetary thing for Kendrick.
maybe.
You're not going to get snacked out of 50% of your lunch, whereas Kendrick's probably like, yeah, look, I got a smaller lunch, but it's all mine.
Sure, maybe. But at the end of the day, he's got more moolah, baby.
I guess Euphoria, man, did its thing. Did have the internet going crazy, right? Even though I guess you didn't think it was one of the stronger diss tracks.
But at the time when it came out, because obviously the others hadn't come out, I was like, oh, okay, we're starting to like warm up. But obviously, speaking in the full picture of everything, in retrospect, you know what I mean? I can say that. But at the time, I was like, ooh, here we
It
go.
was fire,
Like,
wasn't
here
it?
we go. Like, oi, they're gonna tango a little bit some more. This is what hip hop's all about.
Yeah. So it did set it up, man, and we got another little. This I'd say similar to what Taylor Made was to Push Ups. This was kind of Kendrick's follow up to the Scathing song to be like, hey, you know, little warning shot or whatever. Like
So with this song, I think
a
this
filler
song,
song.
this song wasn't meant for us. This song was just directly to Drake.
Akram,
Just you only.
whispering
only
in
you.
his ear. That's the way
That's
I
all
see
it
it.
was.
Just hey, come here.
That's exactly it. Let me tell you something.
One.
I'll get to that a bit later on in the song, but that's I
The
think
beat,
because
the flow.
That was
tone.
this was fire.
Only
This was fire.
only
That
released
beat.
on
I have
Instagram.
to say though, this for me, since I've gone back and re-listened to it for this podcast, this is my favorite. From Kendrick, by far. Like it's exceeded anything. Like the more I listen to it,
Yeah.
the more I find that it's insane. Like I think he spazzes on this one.
does.
I thought he spazzes on this one. You know
And
what I
the
mean?
industry's cooked as
And
I
it-
pick
and
the
it was only
carcass
a shame-
apart.
Yeah, it was a shame because I think obviously we had the double releases like straight after it, so
Yeah.
it got overshadowed.
Some fire songs are buried
wasn't.
in
It
this
wasn't
beat.
on
Yeah.
streaming. It wasn't on streaming. It wasn't really until I came back and I was like, I had chucked it on like this week. I was like, yo, this is fucking fire, bro.
And this is a couple of days, I think, after Euphoria.
Friday.
Just
Yeah, the
a
Friday,
couple of
yeah.
days after, it was just like, damn, so smooth. It's just such a smooth track after Euphoria, like, kind of took it there, walked it back to
just
be like,
brings it
hey,
back.
let me, like Akram said, let's just talk
This
here.
is just directly to
No,
Drake.
he got so much more vicious on this one. He got way more vicious. Like some of the words, some of the like, you know, talking about like, yo,
Fake
will I take
bullies,
apart
you
your
must be-
carcass, like all this type of shit. Like he was like, this is what I expected Euphoria to be.
Can I just start by saying, go back to the start of this song. That sound you had to start being a V12 machine is just sick.
Yeah.
Kendrick's a sick man. And then on top of that, using an Al Green beat, which Drake's uncle played on, is just demonic behavior by Kendrick, which I
Yeah.
love. Just
Too
the
bad he
pettiness,
couldn't get it cleared.
Just to see the pettiness of it. I don't think he cares for it being cleared.
yeah, all the
Nah,
songs,
nah.
I think all the songs he's kind of giving up
These guys are
copyright.
billionaires. They don't care.
He
Yeah.
doesn't care at all. But
But the beat was fire.
Nah, the beat was fire.
Soundwave was on the beat.
Who was? Huh?
Soundwave, his
Oh,
longtime
Soundwave.
collaborator,
Yeah,
and Jack Antoff as well, who's Taylor Swift's collaborator.
Taylor Made, baby.
Which it was
Yeah.
too much fun was being had during
That's what I'm
this
saying. The
beat.
pettiness of Kendrick just over the last two songs, I was like,
I
didn't know you
swear to
had
God,
it in
I'm
your-
sure that dude just came in the studio and maybe pressed one button just so Kendrick can give him that production
Yeah.
credit after the Taylor Made freestyle. Be like, hey, I need a favor, because the actual song just fire, man.
Yeah.
Now
Tone
the
of
whole
it-
thing at the start where he's kind of like apologizing for what he's about to do. That was 10 out of 10. I think I was waiting for this K Dot and he finally showed up. I'm glad he decided to enter the beef because we were waiting. You know what I mean? He made his presence, but obviously, like I said, because of the way the next few things dropped, this one gets forgotten about. But
Yeah.
this is easy. If not number two, like it might be number one.
I think it's my favorite beat out of the whole beef.
Yeah.
616 in LA
I give you that.
is my favorite beat.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
It's
just
pretty-
so
it's pretty fire.
smooth. It's like almost unassuming. Like you forget you're in a beef listening to
Yeah.
it.
It was also
You know what I
it was
mean?
good.
Eating lobster at a nice
It
restaurant.
was good how they stole each other's things. Obviously, he's doing the timestamp, which is like thing, and he obviously did the heart part 6, blah blah blah. So
Laid it on
there
the
was
track.
more a little bit nice little swordsmanship. You know what I mean? They were
Yeah.
having like they were battling each other on all those fronts as well. That was good.
Yeah.
The more you pick apart the song, I swear to God, bro,
It's a fire track.
It's
it
got
gets left on, man.
it's
Check out 616 in LA a little bit more, guys. Give it some love
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
on the
yeah.
streaming services as well, so it's a bit harder to find. But
You can
such a
find
good
an
show.
episode version on Spotify, but yeah, like it's definitely like up there as one of his best.
yeah,
easy.
But this song is, I think, when it started to like I said, the first one was a public showing of, hey, let's keep it friendly. This one, when it got deep, is when he starts talking about, have you ever thought that OVO could be working for me?
that was fire.
I guarantee you Drake was walking around the embassy looking at his niggas
Fire.
side-eyed and everything that whole
Fire.
week.
I didn't think Kendrick could be that conniving.
Yeah.
You know? And he started listing the numbers and rounding down
Yeah.
the numbers. I was like, Kendrick, you
And then he pretty much
conniving.
little bros him at the end of that line. Let me put you some game because I can see you, my little homie. Like, you're not about this life. Let me just tell you, you're missing some things.
God.
Careful about that. So that's how I think he started getting
Anytime
real.
someone tries to little homie you and they're similar age to you or younger is even the worst. Nah, them fighting words right there. You can't let anybody try to little homie you if they're similar age.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was going to talk about the album cover. This was when they just had the glove, when Kendrick just had the glove.
True.
And at this point, obviously, people didn't get what the reference was. It was just a glove. I remember.
And the
like, first thing that
Maybach?
came
Was it in
to
a
mind was
Maybach
like
or
OJ
something?
Simpson.
A
Was
Maybach
it-
glove.
Maybach glove, yeah.
Again, that's why I think this song was directed just to Drake because Drake's the only person that would have
Knowing
carried what
is.
that glove was.
Mm.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say the first thing that came to mind was OJ Simpson. I was like, what's going on here? I thought Kendrick was trying to make some crazy reference to OJ Simpson, whatever trial maybe.
I'm a kid and still make it out.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I didn't like it though. I was like, hey, this is getting a bit too dark for me. Let's keep it on beat.
But wasn't that all planted? Like I'm not 100% sure of the story, but wasn't that all like planted for him to do that?
Yeah. Look, I know on the next time when he does the Meet the Grahams, he gives
Yeah.
a full shot of what that is, and then there's a bit more of a breakdown of what's actually there, and then people saying that it wasn't actually his stuff, which I guess we'll get to. But I just thought that album cover at the time was just interesting when you had no other context. And it was another fun thing with Kendrick, everyone kind of writing what their thoughts were with what Kendrick might be referring to. But
What was
Kept it
616's
interesting.
cover? Did he have? Did he have a cover? Like what was?
616?
No, that's what I'm saying,
That was the
glove.
cover.
It was just a glove.
No, but that was Oh no, sorry. Euphoria. What was
It
Euphoria?
was the definition of euphoria.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, sorry, I got
Like
that
that dictionary definition.
Yeah,
Before also
got
being
it.
the show that Drake is a director on about high school
Yeah.
girls and shit like that. Just throw that out there.
I think it was like a nominated for like it was like nominated for like cleaned up all the awards or something.
Yeah, about high school students.
TV. What? You can't make TV about high school.
Drake.
You can't. You can't make TV. He's an actor, bro. You keep forgetting the dude's an actor.
And I'm very well aware he's an actor.
Yeah,
he's not a rapper.
He's
just a
multi.
really good
Come on,
actor.
Akram,
Come
don't
on,
do
bro.
that.
That's
Come on,
disrespectful.
man.
Come on, man.
I don't have zero respect
Any-
for this guy. Come on, man. Fuck.
He's a rapper, bro. He's a multi-billion-dollar rapper, bro. Come on, man.
At 616, I was just gonna say finishes off with another Michael Jackson and Prince back and forth, which I like when he tells him
You are not alone.
yeah, before you figure you are not alone, ask for Michael do. And again, I just love the going back and forth with the little jabs, little reference points.
Like I said, they're still in
A
that
nice
same
little way to
motion.
finish it.
Nah, I think so. That was a good little touch.
Especially, building up the whole that you can't trust the people who are around you, and then just to finish it off with that, I thought that was a nice little.
And then the
scene.
part as well where he kicks in with the Elohim KTW, the way the beat just changes and
Yo,
becomes
Kendrick
more
was
menacing.
Kendrick
That part,
was
from that
spitting.
part onwards, it's just
Kendrick was on his shit.
Kendrick the
even
Warrior.
act looking compromised. Even now he starts to bring back like
Yeah,
the whole strings and
again,
all that
name
kind of stuff.
dropping.
He covers a lot in that song, man. I don't do
Yeah.
lyrics by lyrics kind of thing, but too many good one-liners in there that maybe subtle, not as obvious as some of the other ones in the previous songs have been.
Yeah.
But yeah. Very.
I remember this dropped for us in Australia here in Melbourne, midnight.
Yeah.
I
Friday night.
remember thinking, whoa, like, God damn, let me sleep, let me breathe here. I swear to God, I went for like a run, I did something, I couldn't even sleep. I was like, just boom, had it on replay. The beat, like the way Kendrick was just kind of, I thought it was fantastic, man. That track was amazing. And yeah, it does get buried in all the other songs that we've done.
It's gotten
But
lost.
at the time, man, that song was just a gem.
Yeah.
Oh, and it still is, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll pay that.
Just nasty, man. Kendrick going to work. And at this point, I guess we're coming to the end of this episode, guys. But at this point, that's it. Like stage has been not even set. There's been some blood at this point. Like
I think that's round 1 done.
yeah, we've gone a couple
Yeah,
of rounds.
yeah,
I
because they've
reckon. If
released
you break
two
it-
songs
depending on how
each,
you-
yeah?
Depending
Two,
on
three
how you
songs.
Depends how you want to look at it, because on First Person Shooter, Drake wasn't actively in a battle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it
So
wasn't.
I don't count the battle to start until Push-Ups and Taylor Made, and then Kendrick and Euphoria and 616.
Yeah,
are the
yeah,
two
yeah,
covers. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
round 1 kind
Yeah.
of done.
Because before it was still like J. Cole was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
still a bit messy. It wasn't clear that there was a one-on-one kind of battle going. But after these 2 songs, it's like, oh shit, ding ding, round 1's done.
All the furniture's been moved out the way and
That's
everything. They're really going at it now, man. Blood being
And we
spilled.
were treated. We didn't have
a
to wait
little
long
bit.
for round 2. It was straight into it.
Yeah.
I think the next day. So meet the Grahams next week.
No.
Mm.
I was going to say before that, it's family matters.
Family
but-
matters.
Yeah.
And then,
Matters, yeah.
and then
Jump
half
to
an
the
hour
gun.
later.
Whee! That's next episode, man.
That's
That's going
gonna
to be a
save that.
goodie. But I was going to say at this point, just to wrap up this episode, I'll ask you first this time, Akram. Where were you at this point? So 616 is dropped, and obviously the other tracks we've discussed.
I was driving home. I was out mate's house, and I was telling him about the whole Euphoria thing. I was trying to give him a bit of history about the whole Kendrick Drake beef, what it was, and I showed him Euphoria. And then they got sort of piqued their interest. On my way home, I get a message from them, hey, Kendrick did another one. I was like, okay, let me get to it. Listen to it that night, and yeah, just rap genius that whole night till I fucking woke up the next morning.
So you obviously sensed Drake was coming back at
After
that point
the
as well?
616? Oh, he had to, yeah. At that point, I was like, yeah, he's going to come back with something. I don't know how quick it would be, but like we said, they'd locked horns at this point. Someone had to keep it going, otherwise...
Gang. Ray, how were you feeling?
Yeah, no, I was feeling good, man. We were getting a masterclass in in lyrical penmanship. Two of the 3 goats, they were going back and forth. This is what we always wanted. We had people, the hardcore K-Dot bootlickers were already kind of saying he's already lost, blah, blah, blah. So he never gave him a chance. But I think in terms of rap, this was the best and most purest it was at. I think at this point it was like the swinging. It ain't quite like I'ma kill you type shit yet, but it was just like bar. They were just throwing bars at each other.
Yeah,
and this was
spilled before, but at this point, I guess maybe not blood spilling, but it's getting
This was still good. I think at this stage before anything come out, things could be forgiven.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
True,
I think things could be forgiven. But after like these next, episode 2, which we'll cover, I think I think it's went to mortal enemies type shit. Some I hate you real shit type. You know what I mean? Like, and vocalizing it and being that way too. But who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, that's where we're stopping it for today's episode, man. A lot of great tracks that we got to cover in this one. Next episode gets dark, gloomy. Ain't gonna be as smiley, I reckon, next episode. Very, very dark. Like Ray said, at this point, it was still kind of fun, man.
Yeah.
Next couple of tracks, it ain't as fun anymore.
Habitual line stepper made it go there.
So we're going to be covering the next couple of tracks in the next episode, man. But we're going to stop it for, at this point. Boys, you got anything to say? Anything we missed? J. Cole ain't top 3?
Wow.
That's a podcast for another time.
He dismissed himself from the top 3?
Wow.
Hamid, anything we missed?
Just in Euphoria, Kendrick addressing Drake, I mentioned the top, dropping him with 50, and then Kendrick bringing the top in.
Hey, top dog, who
the fuck they think they're playing with?
And that beat change as well. Just the energy comes up with. Woo! That was good, man. We'll see what comes
Again,
next.
like I feel like it's the tone, man, that he said it with. Like if
Yeah.
he said that with not that aggressive tone, it might have not hit.
Who the fuck they think they're playing with?
Like extortion, mum.
And that's the thing with the Euphoria. Just go back to that song real quick. Like, it was genuine hate that you feel in that song that Kendrick had for Drake. Like, some people might think it's acting, but listening to that, it's like, he genuinely does not like this guy, man. We'll see how we go next week, though.
Yeah.
See how much he really doesn't like him.
At the end of the day, man, I stand by. K-Dot hasn't said anything groundbreaking, bro. Like, if these angles that Push is taking, Meek Mill's taking, like, it ain't hit him up. Like I said, like, and obviously I know it's not as scathing, but in terms of what he's bringing, it's like, yeah, we've heard this before, nigga. Like what? Like what? Like
You ain't heard it like that.
Nah,
so
you ain't heard it. He says that
people,
line, I
people hate
electrify-
Drake. People hate Drake.
No, he
like,
says
what do you
that I
mean?
electrify him, you pacify
it's
him.
more
I can
common
double
to
down
find
that
people
line.
that hate Drake than probably like him, but they're still fucking with his music. And you know what I mean? Like that's a very normal thing.
Anyway,
But it
before
gets
we-
better. But it gets better. Yeah, it gets
Before we
better.
get into another deep dive, that's it from us, man. Thanks for listening into another episode. Cheers, man. Melbourne.